Hello, hello, and welcome back to another Coffee with Laura. Of course, I am Laura, and today we have an important topic because we all really want to be efficient, to get stuff done. I mean, I can't tell you how many people tell me about their to-do list and all the things that they have going on that they just can't realistically get to. A lot of the work that I, not do with everyone, but I do with some people is help them understand they have a capacity and what that capacity is to begin with. So we're going to talk about a concept called self-handicapping. Have you ever heard of it? Self-handicapping pretty much involves engaging in behaviors that sabotage your chances of success. And whether you're aware of your tendency to do so or not, I'm here to give you a harsh truth. You probably are, because most of us do. We just aren't aware of it. Technically, it's defined as a self-sabotaging action or choice that prevents people from taking personal responsibility for their outcomes. So, for example, an easy example is a student who has a big exam or a big project. They might go out with their friends and not spend time on the project or the exam or studying for the exam because they might not think that they're going to be able to do well. So if they do that, and meaning they stay out with their friends and they don't do well, then that means they have something else to blame instead of themselves. It's not their fault. It's that they were out with friends and so, encouraged them to go out. Or, if you're an adult, which most of us are, let's say you have a big presentation that you have to get ready for, or you have new curriculum you need to set. It's the same idea. When we put it off for doing other things that aren't as important, we're taking action to blame something else. We're pretty much giving ourselves an out unintentionally so that we don't have to feel that way. So self-handicapping really allows people, like if you haven't caught the drift of it, it allows people to find an outside source to blame for any possible failure. And sure, it's an effective strategy for protecting your ego and your self-esteem, maybe, but it's definitely not a good system for success. Meaning, that's why we do it in a large way, to protect our ego, to protect our self-esteem, because we don't like feeling the feelings of failure or the uncomfortable feelings to begin with. So why do we do this? Besides not wanting to feel uncomfortable feelings, why do you think we do this? Yes, it's the uncomfortable feelings, but it really comes down to what we believe to be true about ourselves. So I've said this before, but I'm just going to say it one more time because it's worth repeating. How our brain and body work together to make everything automatic, which makes our life so much easier. Can you imagine what it'd be like having to think about every breath you took? I couldn't even have this conversation. I'd be like, inhale, exhale, right, and then I'd keep talking. You get my point. So when we're young, we get these beliefs that are built into our head, and they're very much created by an undeveloped mind. Then those beliefs create most of our thoughts, which then creates most of our feelings, and our feelings create energy that cause our hormones to release or not to release, and ultimately adjusts accordingly. Let's say we try and change that, for instance. Let's say you don't think you're good at presentations, but you have a presentation, so you need to try. You would likely do something to handicap yourself, like going out with friends or organizing the house instead of actually prioritizing the work needed to do for the actual presentation, because you're already believing that you can't or that you're not good at it. And let's say the presentation doesn't go well. Well, what do you know? It's a damn house. It's because of so-and-so, whoever's not allowing the house to be clean. So that's what our limiting beliefs do. They run our world. So why do we do this? Because we don't like feeling uncomfortable, and our beliefs run our world. And it's both of them for this other key reason. If we just didn't like feeling uncomfortable, well, not being successful isn't exactly comfortable either. So that can't be the only reason why that's happening. It's also because we have these limiting beliefs working beneath our awareness, where if we blame ourselves, our ego feels like it's going to get destroyed. It's going to crumble at that idea. Even though it's not, that's what it feels like. What we need to do is kind of supercharge the conscious controller of our brain and allow ourselves to recognize when we're having these tendencies so we can be intentional about choosing when we want to give into them or when we don't want to give into them. So for example, when I first started my business, it was during COVID. I had slightly shifted careers and started the business, moved across country and bought a house with my husband. So there's 4 really big things. So stress and I were thick as thieves. And what I found myself doing to sabotage some of my other goals was indulging in these delicious chocolate macadamia nut turtles from Costco. Yes, they were tasty. And it wasn't but 2 weeks later that I realized my body was more familiar with body shame, which is a different type of stress than the other 4 stressors that were kind of working against me at that point. So what I did, my handicap, was emotional eating, which is not helpful, and we can definitely work on that. But the other little issue is we don't want to take responsibility for the bad stuff. We want to be able to blame this person for the dirty house or our friends for enticing us to go out. But we're the ones making the choice. I never understood the impact of personal responsibility. It is power. It is the only real way that I can explain it. It is the most powerful thing that you can really do. Does it suck sometimes? You bet. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Does it feel good to know that you are responsible for being unsuccessful? No, it doesn't. But does it feel good to blame someone else for your lack of success? No, it doesn't. You're still unsuccessful. That's still the uncomfortable feeling. The difference is when we take responsibility, we can change it. We can do something about it so we don't continue to experience the same thing over and over and over again. One of the beautiful things about, and yes, I use beautiful things, about uncomfortable emotions is they teach us how we want to be different. But if we're busy handicapping ourselves and blaming others and engaging in self-sabotaging actions without even knowing it, we're never going to get to the world we want. We're never going to get to the life we want. We need to take personal responsibility. So if you are someone who struggles to take personal responsibility, and as you're listening, you're like, fuck, Laura, I totally do this. I totally take actions to work against my bigger goals, then I have the deal. It is the deal for you. My new program, Get to Know the Real You, is all about building your confidence. There's a whole section on personal responsibility and self-handicapping so that you can rewire your mind to really get the success that you desire. And because we're kind of tilting around that Black Friday time period, I'm going to give you $250 off the entire program. And you get access to all that information for life. It is kind of sabotaging myself, but I like giving. So, you know what, in the spirit of giving, let's give. But that's not the only thing. So that's kind of the Thanksgiving thing. But we also have the Christmas thing, because Christmas is right around the corner. And having the back-to-back holidays and being around our family, it's very hard not to self-sabotage. So to help hold anyone who wants to accountable, I am giving you the option to engage in the Holiday Accountability Challenge. And this is all it involves. You're going to choose one physical habit, one mental habit, and one emotional habit that you want to work on for the next 20 days. And we will officially start on December 4th. So you have 3 more days to sign up. All it will involve is telling me what those 3 habits are when I post in the group to tell me if you did them or not. You will. And if you did do them, you get up to 3 points. So if you did each one of the habits, you get 3 points each day. If you did one of the habits, you get the 1 point. Let's say your physical habit is to do yoga in the morning. And for whatever reason, you wanted to change it to be meal prepping for one day. Totally fine. Just message me that so I can keep track. And here's the best part, because I do love giving. There are prizes, and not like ugly, annoying, boring prizes. I'm talking money. For anyone who wants to improve their health, their confidence, and their emotional eating throughout the holiday time period, aka the next 20 days, you have the opportunity to win $100, $75, or $50 for first, second, and third place based on the amount of points that you get. All you gotta do is build the habits, and I'm gonna give you money. What do you have to lose, right? But considering the holidays are right around the corner, we need to be intentional and consistent. So all you'll need to do is, if you're interested in the holiday accountability challenge, just message me right below or comment on the video, and I will get you enrolled, and you'll get a DM or email, depending on your preference, and you will get started on December 4th. But make sure you tune in next week, because next week we are going to talk about the number one thing that make us or cause us to make mistakes when we're building new habits, since New Year's is the third holiday right around the corner. I got you with Thanksgiving with the Get to Know the Real You and the $250 off. It's amazing. I got you with Christmas with the holiday accountability, and next week I'm helping you get ready for the New Year's and whatever new habits you want to work on. So with that, thank you as always for tuning in, and I will see you next week. And remember, if you are not a member of Being Healthy, be sure to join, because that's where a lot of the freebies and especially the holiday challenge is going to take place in my group Being Healthy. So I hope to see you there. And again, I will see you next week in Being Healthy, hopefully.